West,
Hey,
how do you do, ma'am?
good. Like my hair
Good.
color?
I do like it. Your hair is always on point. I
It's hair
have,
paint.
huh?
It's paint, hair makeup.
Hair makeup. What does
It's
that
not
mean?
even real. I can wash it out like right away. It comes. It's not like one of those semi-permanents where a few washes. Like as soon as it gets wet, it'll. Yeah, it's hair makeup.
Oh,
Hair makeup.
so
So I don't have.
listen, I
Yeah.
know nothing about hair product. Obviously, as you can see, um, you know, my hair's been gone for quite some time. I think I tell you one time I was with my friends and they're like, dude, what's going on with your hair? And I used to have, I'm telling you, I gotta pull this up, Lana. Maybe you can see it. I always save this picture. Look at this kid. Look at this guy in high school.
Oh my!
Look at that hair.
That is a lot of hair. Like it wasn't even a little bit thin anywhere. Wow.
That was a full head of hair, and now it's all gone.
But that
I
happens.
don't need it, though.
No.
Who cares at this
It-
point?
No.
I was very self-conscious about it at one point. Now I don't care.
When did it young did
I
you start?
know it was in my mid. Well, let me think. When the guy first said that to me, it was probably, I don't know, maybe my late 20s, something like that. But it wasn't really prevalent until really the like my 30s is when
Mhm,
it really started showing up.
mhm.
At first, I'm like, no, I can't. I'm looking into hair replacement. Hair. I still think about that to this day. I'm not ashamed to say it. But
I get older. Like who's not losing their hair?
yeah, I was
They
gonna say
just
they say go out gracefully, but I need something to help cover up my goofy face. So if I had more hair, it
Well,
might
that's why
take that.
you grow the goatee or
No question. Yep. So if I'm gonna grow hair somewhere,
I can still grow hair, damn
ah,
it. And
damn it. Yep.
look.
So, as I tell everybody, I say I don't need the hair. Thank God I'm cool and funny and smart.
Right,
That's all that
right.
matters. So,
Yeah.
by the way, you like the Christmas tree?
I saw that. I'm like, and when I saw it, I'm like, oh, you're making me want to get
I'm
one.
waging my war on Christmas.
Oh,
Isn't that the thing? Fox News every year is that
oh,
Democrats are waging a war on Christmas.
oh. No, I don't.
Yeah, what would
Is
you
that,
know
I
about
don't
with
know.
Fox News? No, that's a famous every year they're
Oh,
trying to figure out a way how Democrats are waging wars on
oh, because we
Christmas.
don't like Jesus or none of.
Yeah, it's that,
We hate
and
death
because
commandments.
we're also accepting of other
Oh,
holidays other than just Christmas.
oh, right. Because we don't say Christmas either anymore.
We say happy holidays instead
Right,
of
and
Merry
they're
Christmas.
pissed
And
off
when
about.
Donald Trump becomes president in 2024, we're going to have to start saying it again.
And people
Merry
don't
Christmas
get
time.
that. I was thinking about that today. I know you got stuff to do, but I was just like, it's so much deeper than what people think. Like, no, we just don't want Donald Trump as president. But when he's president, he is going to be able to, and then not only that, if he's president with Congress, he can make any fucking law he wants. Like, he can just wake up and be like, I want a law to ban black crayons, and
Mm-hmm.
Congress can work on it. Like, no, for real, for real.
Or the ones that he's already talking about, which is
Yeah,
banning Muslims again.
right.
And that's something actually we're going to touch on. In fact, I was going to give you the choice. I've got a few things I want to touch on today.
Okay.
I want to touch on, I don't know if you saw, did you see the Elon Musk interview?
I'm sorry.
That's one thing. So I'm going to give you the choice of where you want to start first. Elon Musk. Do we want to talk about the Ron DeSantis, Gavin Newsom debate? I
Okay.
can't wait to get into that. But because me saying that, don't make it your first choice just because I'm saying I
Oh,
can't
we're
wait to
going
talk
which
about it.
comes first? Is that which
I
one?
want you to tell me which one you want to talk about first. So Elon
Oh,
Musk,
first. Oh,
the debate between Ron DeSantis and
the debate. The
yeah,
debate. Because I didn't see the
you don't
debate.
even know the other
Oh,
choices.
I thought that was it. Oh, sorry.
No,
There's
there's
more. Okay.
more.
Oops, sorry.
The gentleman and his wife, the Moms for Liberty lady, and their three-way. And we could talk about Donald Trump and his evangelic
Oh.
his faith, and we can also talk about what 2024 could look like if Donald Trump were to take over. So, out of all those fun topics, which one would you like to start with first?
The moms of liberty.
That's why you guessed before I gave you all the choices. I give you all the choices. And yeah, maybe you're right. We have to start with this one. So
That's like, that was, I mean, of all the hypocrisy, like that's the biggest one this week. I get what?
There's no question. Well, if you have not heard, Florida Republican Party Chairman Christian Ziegler is currently under investigation by the Sarasota Police Department. It was confirmed by CBS News. He is being accused of rape and sexual battery that occurred on October 2nd. Now, Ron DeSantis, who normally in the Republican Party normally just lets these things go and says it doesn't matter, we can do whatever we want. Ron DeSantis, in fairness, did call for him to resign, which must mean this must be pretty serious.
Right.
And Ron DeSantis, I think him and Ron DeSantis are pretty close and they know each other. So Ron might know something a little bit about this. I'm not saying he does, but the Florida Trident, a nonprofit organization focusing on government accountability, reported that a woman told Sarasota police that she, Christian, and his wife, Bridget, have been involved in a three-way sexual relationship for 3 years. The events being investigated allegedly occurred on Christian Ziegler and the woman. Being investigated allegedly occurred while Christian Ziegler and the woman were alone at the woman's home. And just so we know who Bridget Ziegler is, she is the co-founder of Moms for Liberty, the right-wing group that dubs itself as parental rights advocates and attempts to elect far-right candidates to school boards. The group opposes references to race and LGBTQ identity in the classroom and has called for books referencing gender and sexuality to be removed from schools and libraries. Now, you could separate the two and say, well, one has to do with children and the other one, we are grown adults and we do our thing. But as Lana just pointed out, the hypocrisy is astounding.
Right. It's pretty unbelievable because, yeah, threesomes, yay, have fun, guys. Like,
100.
Want consensual.
Yep.
But Moms of Liberty, yeah, I guess you could argue that it's the parents' rights, but no, we know that they believe further than that because they're conservative. So they're not for the gays, whether they're children or adults. Mm-hmm. However, the nerve of Bridget to be engaged in a threesome, meaning she's got lesbian tendencies.
So I've said this. We talked about this on the foot. You just said, they're against gays. I think they have the appearance that they're against gays, but I think a lot of it is fighting some of their own internal feelings about things. So it's just like Trump when he's talking about how they're fascists and I'm not. It's all projection with these people. Every bit of it is projection. And they are projecting what they do behind closed doors upon other people, saying this is wrong, this is terrible. And they're doing it themselves, maybe to, I don't know, make them feel better or to justify what they're doing.
Get the trail off of them too, right? So like if they're always yelling, look over there, the gays, they're having burr, burr, burr. Meanwhile, you don't see what I'm doing over here. So
well, let's also talk about the other important part of this story is that not that it's just a hypocrisy story. It's way more than a hypocrisy story. It's a basic rape story where this woman is not consenting and she is calling them out. Now, there's going to be more facts that come out, and I am never anybody. The one thing I can't stand with any of these stories is when some person takes one side definitively over the other before knowing all the facts. I don't know all the facts, but what I do know is that this woman, there was a 911 call from one of her friends that I heard that she was saying that the lady just says she can't live anymore and that she's being forced to do that. All kinds of things. And there is a hypocrisy here that goes beyond, groomers is one of their favorite words to use.
Right.
And apparently they were taking a lot of advantage of this young lady.
And that's exactly what it sounds like, right? Because the audacity, like, of you, because wasn't it that they had set this thing up for the three of them, whatever this time was, but then Bridget wasn't there, and she was like, "Oh, Bridget's not here." She's like, she's kind of the one I really want to rock with, not
Yeah, right,
you,
right, yeah.
right? So it happened after that. So it's like this guy, whatever his name is, Mr. Ziegler,
Mhm.
had the audacity to be pissed and went over and like, I'm just gonna have it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
that means something, right? Like it's like you're power tripping, or there was something else going on there, like you said, like, I don't know, like 3 years. I don't know. I just want the information to come out. Like, I don't even want to speculate that much
Yep.
because I just want to know what was going on. But for him to go over to her house and rape her, and in his head, he's probably like, I'm not raping her. She likes this. Like, that's probably what he's thinking. Like, what are you talking about? This is what we do. But she didn't want you then.
Yeah, and it appears that the young lady that is in question here has, a lot of mental issues. Now, that doesn't mean what she's saying is she's lying. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. But, there is something that is really bothering her. Who knows what it is? And like you said, the facts need to come out. But at the end of the day, let's say the facts come out and this young lady is making things up, or she's over exaggerating, whatever the fact, we can still fall back on the fact that this is hypocrisy at its highest level.
Right. This is some crazy shit that y'all into right now. And then talking about everyone else's lifestyle,
Yeah.
always wanting to be in someone else's bedroom.
Well, there's also too, did you see I want to say it was on Netflix or one of these, the people who run Liberty University. The what's the son of the
Well, people.
yes, yes. The Falwell, that whole thing is a freaky, weird thing going on.
Ooh, right.
And the pool boy, that was the pool boy story and all that, where the pool boy was always banging the guy's wife in front of, and just all this kinds of stuff. And, it's kind of like what they're missing here is that you guys can do whatever you want as long as it's legal and everybody's consensual and nobody gives a shit. But you're out here preaching against everybody else and what they're doing. That is where everybody wants to go tell you to go fuck yourself. We don't want to hear from you. We don't want to hear that you are this party that thinks about Jesus and God and doing the right thing at all times. And, you're out there doing the same kind of stuff that everybody else wants to do.
They just do. Lauren Boebert running around with a goddamn cross around her neck like she's fucking baby Jesus's mama. And then we see her in Beetlejuice, like getting it on. Like,
she's got her hand down the guy's pants and she's vaping like a teenager. She's, but she, like you said, she's on stage saying that we need to ignore everybody, that the Bible is what the law should be. She said something to that effect, and she's nuts, and they're all nuts.
It's all disgusting.
It really is. Which actually, that will segue me to the second thing, because this might have been more later on the show. But since we're talking religion, let's stick with religion. Donald Trump, obviously, to all of his voters and all of his followers, is very big time into Jesus. He loves Jesus. He
Where's my Bible? I'm gonna get it.
You don't want it to explode. Yeah. But I'm watching a few things.
I know I have one.
You actually do have a Bible.
I have books.
Look at you. It's upside down, just like Donald Trump would do.
Trying to say Donald Trump would go.
Yeah, hold it up. Wouldn't even understand a word in it, but I was watching a video the other day. Look at this video of all these clowns surrounding their leader in prayer. And I'm just watching this. It's so uncomfortable and just, but man, the way these people eat this up. Look at this.
Will not prevail against him.
Ugh.
Speak this over him, Lord. I pray for protection.
Look at Donald. He wants nothing to do with this. Nothing.
Lord, that all the weapons formed against him will not prosper. Yes. Lord, they will come to nothing, and the traps that have been laid against him.
Look at these people.
They laid the traps, they will be caught in their own traps. Yes. So, Father, we thank you now, Lord, for a great favor. And I pray, Lord, that we will get. Where's the trouble?
I got to hand it. He's a great actor.
Not his understanding, but acknowledge you in all his ways.
He really is, because he's not laughing.
No, he's. I think he's not laughing because he's just pissed. He's like, God damn it! Do I really have to go
He's
through
about
this
to get the
dumb
Holy
shit?
Ghost. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We say
He's about to get the Holy
right
Ghost.
now, and Lord, we thank you that it should be done by our Father in heaven.
Amen. Oh, that was nice. Look at Donald. He's like, oh, thank you guys. What? I mean,
What's that?
it's a cult, is what it is.
Like, thank you for taking women's rights away for us. It's like,
But that leads to the next clip. This other lady, she's on, I think, some sort of Christian network. And of course, she's asking him, just listen to his answer and how people just don't go, wait a minute, maybe he might not be as religious as we think he is. But this lady's asking Donald Trump, where he gets his faith and where he gets his strength to go through all of what he's going through now.
How do you do this?
Oh, how do you do it,
Where
Donald?
do you draw your strength from? We're talking about faith.
Hmm.
How do you do this every day? How do you get up and fight for every single one of us?
It's probably the biggest question I get. The second biggest would be, they're not going to be allowed to do it again. Okay, you know what that means. Okay, that's number two. But number one is,
Wait. I'll rewind it. What does that mean? The second biggest question is, what? Wait.
they're not
be
going
allowed to do it again. Okay, you know what that
They're not going to be allowed to do it again is the second biggest question.
Well, he's saying.
Well, what he's doing is he's scrambling in his head because he has no fucking idea how to answer this question. So he's just saying gibberish until he can figure out an answer. But this is what he
they're
comes
not
up
going to
with.
be allowed to do it again. Okay, you know what that means. Okay, that's number two. But number one is, how do you do it?
Wait, how did it go from number 2 to number 1? All right, I'm sorry.
I don't know why he wanted to do two first.
Yeah, I don't know either. All right.
One of the reasons is that I have the highest poll numbers people have virtually ever seen. You're beating these people by 60 points, and we're beating Biden by a lot.
She's trying to get out of him. How do you do it? How's your faith? How does Jesus? How is all this? And he did not mention Jesus once.
No. How do you do it? How do you find the strength? We're beating Biden in the polls. Like, oh, he's so gross. Like, everything about him is just like, oh.
It's disgusting, but I just don't see. I don't see how some people look at this guy and go, God, he's the greatest. And the normal people like us and intelligent people go, what the fuck are you people doing?
How are you following him? Like, if you listen to him, how are you going like, yo, that's my man. That's it. Because honestly, when I hear Biden talk, I'm not going, yo, that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm not
me either.
That it's strictly the policies that the administration and the Democrats are out here fighting for. That's it.
I have never done that, first of all, with Biden or really any politician. Now, I've heard politicians speak, and I've been like, oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But I am not, just what you said. We're not bowing down to the words of everything that comes out of this person's mouth.
Then they put him in like Superman and Batman costumes and everything but what he should be in, the Klan robe. They put him in every kind of
They put him in where he's part of the military, which should be offensive to any military person. And I'm sure it is offensive to some military people, because if Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem is bothering some of these people, it better bother them that they are showing Donald Trump, who did everything he could to get out of military service and had his daddy help him, put him in the light of some military hero for the country. Pretty whack, to use a nice 80s term. That's an 80s term, right? Whack.
Yeah, I think whack is.
I think it started in the 80s.
It did start in the 80s.
What do you know about the 80s? You weren't around in the 80s.
Kids now are saying wild, which is hilarious because that's an old term, but all my kids go say is like, that's wild. I'm like,
would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a thing. Yeah.
I know a lot of kids like to bring some retro stuff back. You know what I mean? They're which is, I don't know. I don't know if it's cool or not. I have no idea. But the final thing on Donald and his so-called religion, the Lincoln Project, which they do a lot of videos, which I really, really like. They put together this little video about him and his past religious statements.
Nice.
But I think if you had a real election and Jesus came down and God.
Sorry, wait. No, this is not the Lincoln Project one yet. This one is Donald Trump. He is discussing what if God came down, how he would have handled the whole 2020 election.
But I think if you had a real election and Jesus came down and God came down and said, I'm going to be the scorekeeper here, I think it would win there. I think it would win in Illinois, and I think it would win in New York, which is all places that, in theory.
So God's a cheater too? Is that what he's saying? You know what? God would have come down and said, I got another question too. If God can do all this stuff, why didn't he just do it? But why does he have to come down to do it?
I don't know. I don't understand any of it.
Yeah.
Why didn't God change the ballots for Trump if Trump's the savior?
I have no, and maybe the Bible you have right there, read through a few things. Maybe you can find something in there that will clear this up. We've got all night. Upside down. And again, it's say I don't like me. I'm not. Yeah, I kind of am. The whole religion thing is, I don't know. I'm not a religious guy. I'll say that. And I just find this, and I think,
let me touch.
I think that because you can get people to believe something that they can't see, you can get them to, that makes it easier to believe people or get people to believe things that are not true, that are not, that you can't prove, even stuff you can't prove. There's been a lot of arguments against God in the Bible, and people will argue to death against it. And it's almost the same sort of mentality of arguing against the election being stolen.
Right.
There's no proof that it was, but they're going to argue it to the death anyway, because I now believe it, because I am so passionate about this belief.
Right.
You can't change my mind. You just can't do it, even with facts and proof.
Right. Nah, I get it. I agree. I'm not uber religious, but definitely spiritual. I mean, my mom was witness. These are her Bibles. I keep them because, I don't have my mom anymore, but like all her writing is in the Bible. So these are all very special. There is and I've said this before, you and I talked about this before, there is a beauty about religion if it's used in a manner in which it was, in my opinion, supposed to be used. Right.
There is a sweetness and a love and a caring and and there are religious people that are very, Joe Biden is 1 billion times more religious than
Pelosi, all of these people, and the 10 Commandments. That is just something that gives us some type of way to live, right? Some type of moral compass. That's what that is, something to live by. And I've always looked at everyone's religion like that, Muslim, Jewish, like whatever it is, it's something to kind of keep us on the right track.
Yeah, and which is nice. Like I said, I personally don't need religion to teach me how to be a good human being. I think we're all not perfect, and I think we all have ways to, that we can learn. But if you're at least willing to admit that, you're at least willing to go through life and going, you know what, maybe that's not the way I should be, or maybe that's I should change this or that, that's fine. And if people have religion in their life to do that, that's great. But
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, man, some of the most hateful, mean people are these really far right-wing religious evangelical people that I'm not even sure. Like I said, if there is a God and there is a Jesus, my guess is if he does come back down, he'd tell them all, guys, you're not doing this right at all. I'm very disappointed in you. And maybe I'm guessing that they might not even give a shit.
Right.
They might care more about their anger and their hate than they do about why they're doing it.
I don't even know, like, do these people even go to church anymore? Like, are they practicing evangelicals? Or are they just like evangelicals in name only? I'm sure there are the few, whatever. I'm talking about the politicians and the people who are high up and really involved in politics. It's like, I feel like
I can guarantee you one of those politicians absolutely does not go to church.
Rubio, because his ass.
No, Donald Trump.
Oh,
yeah.
He's not even a Republican. Can we even just talk about that? Donald Trump has
That party. Well, that party's dead. That party does not
that is
exist
true.
anymore.
That
It's not a Republican Party anymore. There's very few people clinging on that just don't exist anymore. But overall too, the decline in church attendance has gone down significantly over the years. So, to answer your question, even if they go to church, they're full of shit. But this is the video I wanted you to watch from the Lincoln Project about Donald Trump and his, religious past.
My Bible.
Just like Lana did.
Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not."
No.
They said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." They said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
Yikes.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are.
Well, I wouldn't want to get into it.
How has your faith grown since you decided in 2015 to run for president?
I had a wonderful life before all this.
Where do you draw your strength from? We're talking about
Just saw this.
I have the highest poll numbers.
I'm Presbyterian. Boy.
And during the Sundays, I'm a Sunday church person. I like to do the right thing where I don't have to actually ask for forgiveness. And when I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker, drink the wine, I eat the cracker. I can understand the evangelicals to a certain extent saying, well, maybe he's not as nice as we want him to be, but maybe he's not as perfect on the Bible. I get sent Bibles by a lot of people.
Where are all those Bibles anyhow now?
Well, actually, we keep them in a certain place, a very, very nice place.
Yeah.
Nothing beats the Bible, not even the art of the deal.
I am the chosen one.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. There's Donald Trump bullshitting his way through his deep faith and religion.
He doesn't know what faith is. That woman is like, where do you get your faith? He don't know how to answer because he don't know what the fuck faith is.
He couldn't spell faith. I would actually ask him to spell it. I don't think he could.
He's like, isn't that a country singer? I don't.
Yeah, right. But all these people are like, I vote for Donald Trump because he loves Jesus. He loves God. He is, he's very religious. And I don't know, man. It's fucked up.
Whatever because Trump said. He couldn't even name a book in the Bible.
Well, that interview is even funnier because they started, just trying to dumb it down for him. They're like, could you just name one? He's like, nah, I don't want to do that. That's personal. He goes, are you an Old Testament or New Testament guy? He was like, both. He doesn't fucking know.
He probably has never opened, like, he doesn't even read. He didn't even read the goddamn briefs when he was president.
Right.
Why would he read a Bible?
The guy's got something about him because most people, if they answered the question, are you Old Testament, New Testament guy? If you were a real serious religious person, he goes, both. The religious person would go, this guy's bullshit. Maybe he's not. But they're not even buying into it. They are taking it and smashing you over the head with the fact that he is Mr. Religion and he loves Jesus and God.
But can we just take a moment to say Mike Pence? The actual guy who will throw himself in front of a church. I mean, he's still a hypocrite because he still lied about shit, whatever. But we also know that he is uber religious.
Yep.
That guy got what, 1%?
1% from the, and I don't even know, it's from not even from the evangelicals. I don't know. I mean, obviously the evangelicals are still going to the guy with 91 felony counts against him.
Mike Pence is the one that made Trump more attractive.
Yeah.
Evangelicals.
Yeah, correct. And that's why he picked him.
Right.
It's the only reason why he picked him, because nobody knew the fuck Mike Pence was.
Right. And now they're like, oh, fuck you. Like, to their own.
Yep.
For the guy who got all these babies' mamas and like 91 counts. Like,
had raw dog sex with a porn star while his wife was pregnant. Praise Jesus.
But that's okay.
Well, obviously it is because of the first story we just read. I mean, again, behind closed doors, they are probably on the freak side of Donald Trump. They're like, hey, that's cool. We do that shit too. We don't say it out loud, but we do that shit too. So that's why we have faith in this guy. So
George Santos, if you're watching, spill the tea.
That dude. I didn't even bring him up because it's so corny and such a clown show that you just, I mean, I guess it is worth bringing up in the sense that, these are who these people are now. It's just how first of all, how did he get elected?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, I mean, maybe he did look attractive to his the people who voted for him. Maybe like he lied, right? So
well, that's what it said. They basically elected a guy that was fraudulent, that he wasn't the guy they thought they were electing. So who knows? But
and I mean, they wanted him gone like right when they found out. So obviously, they thought that they were getting someone who wasn't fucking crazy person.
Yeah. I want to get to this DeSantis Newsom debate.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch any of it?
No. Well, no, just the highlights.
Okay. So I'll be honest, it doesn't even matter whether anybody
There's
watched it.
A lot of yelling when I tried to watch it. So
in my opinion, it doesn't matter if anybody watched or not, because it was, first of all, number one, it was absolutely worthless. There was absolutely zero reason for anybody to even to watch any of that debate. It was so stupid. Right. And it made Ron DeSantis look even worse, in my opinion, than he already has. And that seems to be an impossible task at this point.
How'd that happen? Right.
And my assessment is not because I didn't watch it live, but I am watching a football game, but I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm seeing people saying Gavin Newsom is absolutely destroying Ron DeSantis. He's owning Ron DeSantis, all that. I don't even care about that. I don't care about the owning and all that stuff. None of that mattered to me. What mattered to me is Ron DeSantis is such a fucking wuss that he's so scared to death of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The guy that he's running against right now, he will not say a false, every once in a while he'll throw a jab, but he will not throw any kind of knockout blow. So he's basically like a fighter. He's like a fighter who wants to wear the championship belt, but he's scared to fight the champion. So one of his one of his sparring partners said, I'll fight you. And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna beat up this sparring partner and make himself look tough.
Right.
Instead of fight the fucking champ, even though the champ's calling him out and calling him names and saying all this stuff. He's like, well, I'm not fighting the champ. I'm going to fight this guy because I can say whatever I want to, and I can pick the venue. I can pick the judges for this fight. I could do whatever I want to. If you're going to sit here and tell me that Sean Hannity and Ron DeSantis did not discuss prior to this debate what they'd be talking about, have all his corny answers prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that pissed me off about that debate is Sean Hannity is supposed to be the moderator of the debate, which any moderator that you see in a debate is supposed to be fair on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what they did was they talked about two different states, California and Florida, and every single topic led to Florida's doing awesome here. California sucks. Why is that? And that's basically what it turned into. And even through all of that, Gavin Newsom just stood up there, answered all the questions, was not afraid of Ron DeSantis. Right. And Ron DeSantis was just and yelling at him and thinking he was tough. And it was so embarrassing for that guy.
I can't even imagine, because Newsom is so like cool and laid back. He's not going to like get excitable. Like,
right.
He doesn't.
Yep. And he just, like I said, did he own Ron DeSantis? It's hard to tell, only because Sean Hannity and Ron DeSantis were yelling at him.
Helping him. Sean Hannity's like, oh my God, this dude needs my help. Let me tag in.
That's exactly what it turned into. And I'll tell you another thing that bothered me, and especially living in the state of Florida, there are some things I know that maybe even Gavin Newsom didn't know that I wish that he did, because they were bringing up different things that between Florida, like crime, COVID, immigration, all the talking points that Fox News loves to spew against California and give Ron DeSantis credit for. And that's basically all the whole thing was. But they were talking, one thing was about crime, which, by the way, in the state of Florida, I want to read this article that somebody came out with after Ron DeSantis was going around the state of Florida and saying that crime rate was at a 50-year low. Mm-hmm. And this is also going to lead into the COVID numbers. There's a Florida, one of the top law enforcement officials were repeatedly warned by their own staff that Governor Ron DeSantis' claim that the state's crime rate is at a 50-year low, a message he often uses as part of his presidential campaign, was based on incomplete data that makes the accuracy of the claim impossible to verify. DeSantis continued to promote these numbers on the campaign. And this was a quote from a former Florida Department of Law Enforcement. The ethics of what we were reporting, we knew the numbers were bad. We foot stomped it to the leadership over and over again. They did not care. They did not care. Each of the former Florida law department employees said there was a pervasive sense among agency staff that the numbers were needed to say that their leadership say what their leadership wanted, and that those demands were coming from the governor's office for political reasons. Rank and file staffers raised objections on more than one occasion. And this is another quote. The governor's office wanted to say outright that we were at a 50-year crime low, and we told department leadership verbally and in writing that was not accurate because of the deficiencies in the data. So they put up these numbers on crime between California and Florida using data that was inaccurate and not fair. And they were using this in this debate to help Ron DeSantis' case against Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, I don't know if he knew this or not, but he still just kind of went through the whole thing, handled it, no problem. And just, and in fact, they went to a commercial and they came back and he was like, I could do this. We could do this for a while more. I've got more questions. Sean Hannity told him that. And Gavin Newsom said, I'll stay here with you all night. Let's do it. They went to commercial and they came back and Sean Hannity goes, well, both of them agreed they had other things they needed to do.
Right. DeSantis is like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah. It's like, I'm out.
Like
but
with his stupid grin on his damn face.
But they brought up COVID numbers too. And I want to read this as well. Data from the centers, the CDC, and other independent public health experts suggest that Florida's total death toll from the pandemic is actually understated. Experts noted that Governor Ron DeSantis' administration had used a COVID-19 infection rate that gives more weight to negative test results and thus skews the results. So, I mean, if they're saying it in law enforcement, they're saying it in COVID, and they're saying it's both coming from the governor's office, I'm having a hard time believing that that is not true.
Right. Right. And they've been saying that. They've been saying that for the longest time, that he was hiding those numbers.
Yeah.
But
And
didn't they? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so who was that woman? I think she was a whistle.
Rebecca Jones was her name.
Right.
Yeah. She's actually running for office here in Florida somewhere. But Rebecca Jones was the whistleblower that basically came out and said, we are skewing our COVID numbers. This is not right. And she was subsequently fired. She had, was it the FBI or some law enforcement come to her house at one point and raided her house. So yeah. So yeah, it's a good point bringing that up too. Huh?
Did she go to jail?
Yeah, she did.
Right.
Yep. So they did arrest her. So that's why I said that whole thing was bullshit. I didn't even care what the words were in that whole thing. One thing I did like that Gavin Newsom did is that first of all, he defended Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And there was a time where Ron DeSantis, where they like to get Kamala Harris's name wrong. And they do it on purpose, and he straightened him out. And he goes, don't do that. Don't be disrespectful to the vice president. You know what you're doing. That is not fine. That's not fair. Do not do that. Like that. I like that he started defending and just started going over Joe Biden and his record. They started getting mad about that. And even Sean Hayes was like, wait, I thought this was California versus Florida. And Gavin Newsom was like, oh, wait, I thought we're talking to the American people about facts.
I love Newsom so much.
I do too. I'm a big fan.
He's fearless. Like, he's not afraid to go on Fox News. And if he ran for president, he'd be like, I don't care. I'm going wherever. Like, you can't tell me not to go. I'm going to do it. They don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, the whole thing was a farce. It was a joke. And it was every time Gavin Newsom came up with his facts, they were just yelling at him going, nope, that's not true. That's not true. And he was like, well, I can't wait till you guys look at the fact checkers after this, after this whole debate. Because what I'm telling you is true, and you guys can yell at me all you want to.
How is Hannity a moderator, but also working to help DeSantis? Like, what the? I mean, Newsom's not an idiot. His team already knew that, and they probably said, you know what? If we can convince a couple of people or give some facts to a couple of people where they're like, that makes sense, we've done our job. Like, because that's really what it's about to me. Like, you know,
that's exactly what it was about on Newsom's case. And again, the fact that Gavin Newsom went into a debate with Sean Hannity, which he knows he could not trust, and Ron DeSantis, who he knows probably got all the answers and got all the questions from, in fact, there was a story that he did in fact get the answers, or he got the questions ahead of time. But I don't even need that story, to be honest with you. You're sitting here trying to tell me Sean Hannity and the guy who was talking to Donald Trump during his presidency, you're telling me these guys didn't get together and say, let's destroy this asshole on national TV. And they couldn't do it.
They still couldn't do it.
They could not do it.
Do it with the questions.
There was not one time, and I swear to God, it's not because I was biased towards Gavin Newsom. There was not one time where I watched that debate and went, oh shit, Ron DeSantis got him on that one. Ron DeSantis was just clear in this like idea that I'm being looked at as a big pussy to everybody that's voting for me, that I'm going to show everybody I'm not. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to tear down the villain that we have created in our stupid minds, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, and I'm going to yell at him. I'm going to point at him, and I'm going to do all this stuff. And Gavin Newsom just shook him off like a little puppy and said, dude, you're a clown. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
So if you didn't watch it, I'm glad you didn't, because it wasn't worth watching. I literally was one of the most worthless hour and a half of television I've ever watched in my
It had
life.
to be because it wasn't a lot of highlights, right? Like I thought that there would be so much more to watch. Like, so I got maybe 2 or 3 highlights, maybe.
Mhm.
There weren't, but that's probably why, because between the yelling back and forth and the nonsense, yeah.
And can I just say that maybe debates at this point anymore are worthless? I
Yeah.
mean,
But
we've
are they just making them like it's not making them worthless? Like I don't know. Ugh. Or is it the Republicans? Are Democratic debates okay? Do we yell? I can't recall.
I know, but I think there was a time where the American public could listen to a Republican, could listen to a Democrat, talk
True,
about what they were going to do for the country.
true.
Now everybody knows where everybody's at this point.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not going to watch the Republican debate. I'm not going to watch the debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump and go, well, fuck, Donald Trump, he's going to do this for the American people, and Joe Biden, maybe will consider voting for Donald Trump. And the other side's not going to listen to Joe Biden and go, it's really for these independents who still don't know who they're going to vote for, which who the fuck doesn't know who they're going to vote for at this point?
Agreed. Like maybe there may be people who don't know if they're going to vote at all. Maybe those are the people that we need to still talk to. But no, you're right. If you're gonna vote, you know who the hell you're voting for at this point. Like there's no way you're going like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm not.
Yeah, let me hear what they both have to say, because I still haven't figured out my mind if I want to live under an authoritarian government or the government that we've lived in for the
This is right.
entire American history.
Not hard. This is not hard.
No.
If you thought Trump was bad before, what the fuck you think he bringing now? He said retribution, everybody. Like he's not joking.
Yeah, and that could lead us to what we could talk about next here is that what a Donald Trump presidency would look like in 2024. And I'm going to play a couple clips here. One, Donald Trump's going to tell us basically in a way himself, or this is really one of those projection clips where he's projecting, and then we're going to let Steve Bannon let everybody know exactly where we're heading, and some other people who object to what could possibly happen in the future. But this is one of these deranged rant videos that Donald Trump likes to put out. He claims that Joe Biden is, let's just listen and we'll talk about it.
Cases trying to put their leading political rival, me, in prison. Let's put him in prison. He's leading by a lot. There's no way we can beat him. Let's put him in prison. They're running police state operations to infiltrate the Catholic Church as if it were a communist country. They're persecuting Christians and pro-life activists. They're persecuting anybody they want to persecute. They've labeled ordinary Republicans and parents at school board meetings as potential domestic terrorists. They're resettling millions of migrants into our communities, destroying our country like it's never been destroyed before. They're calling our citizens criminals. They rigged the last election. They rigged the Democrat primary. And
this is all the projection we were talking about. Everything that he is going to do or has done is what he's projecting onto other people, and he's trying to even out the playing field, basically. So people hear, well, Biden does it, Trump does it, so, I'm just going to vote for the lesser of two evils. Just finish this idiot.
They're trying to get their rivals thrown off the ballot everywhere they can, and they're constantly trying to delegitimize the Supreme Court of the United States and threatening conservative judges with violence. In short, nothing about crooked Joe Biden and the anti-democratic party has anything to do with defending democracy. So if crooked Joe wants to turn this election into a question of which candidate will defend our democracy and freedom, then I say, bring it on.
Bring it on, he says.
I would be okay if I never saw another Donald Trump video again in my life. Like that is disgusting. It's torturous. He's hard to look at. He's just disgusting. His mouth is gross. It's like his mouth is one of those things like on a blank paper, and you just see the mouth moving.
Yeah.
So weird, disgusting.
Yeah, you see on late night talk shows or something. Yeah.
What politician does a whole whatever he's doing speech and talks about Crooked Joe and the Democrat part? Like, it's so childish.
Well, the politician who does it is the one that has 91 felony counts against him, and he's scrambling because he knows there is a good possibility of him going to jail.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right. And there's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
And I love that. What's her name? Chutkin?
Yeah, Judge Chutkin.
Out the jury question information. That stuff went out already. So good, because she's trying to get ahead of the game so that her trial starts on time.
Correct. That is correct. And that's where we need, at least one or two of these trials to start on time. There's no question. And, actually, Will, I want to get back to Steve Bannon, but since we're talking about that, this is Chris Christie was talking about the January 6th trial, and this was his opinion on that. Let's take a listen to Chris Christie.
That's a possibility.
How about this? He's going to go on trial the day before Super Tuesday. I believe he's going to be convicted in that January 6th trial in Washington, D.C., predominantly because Mark Meadows, as you know, has signed an agreement.
Former chief of staff.
His former chief of staff, one of the founders of the Freedom Caucus, is going to testify against him. He's going to be convicted. Imagine this. If he's our nominee, he won't be able to vote for himself.
But he can be president.
Yes. Look.
And this is when I talk to other politicos, that they're not steeped in the battle like you are, but they say, look, if he hasn't been dinged by all of these, indictments, a conviction isn't going to make a difference. I think it might.
I think a conviction is different for two reasons. One, because it won't be a liberal prosecutor talking about him anymore. It'll be his former chief of staff saying Mark Meadows, committed crimes, because you wouldn't need immunity if you hadn't committed crimes, and that Donald Trump committed crimes on his watch. That's very different for conservative voters to hear that from Mark Meadows than to hear from Jack Smith. Secondly, this is a jury of your peers convicting you, not, again, the two-tiered system of justice that a lot of people are concerned about. I think it will be very different. The question's going to be, is there going to be somebody who's willing to stand up to him until that moment so that it's not decided? And that's why I said recently, I'm in this through the convention. And I'm in it through the convention. But his
supporters.
Yeah, so we can talk about Chris Christie and his hypocrisy all we want to, but this is just on the subject of Donald Trump. Is he going to jail? And Chris Christie, I will admit, is somebody in the know. He's an attorney. He knows how these things work. And he knows who Mark Meadows is better than any of us do. And Mark Meadows is a key piece of this whole trial now. And the fact that Mark Meadows is testifying against Donald Trump is probably the reason why we're seeing these crazy videos from Donald, knowing that there's a really good possibility he's going to jail.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure. I don't know about the Republican voters so much. I mean, of course, independent voters, if he's convicted, will be like, that's just a bridge too far. But I don't think it's...
Which still is shocking, but...
Right. I don't think anything is going to be because, a Republican is going to testify against him. Like a bunch of Republicans, all the witnesses are Republicans. They've always been Republicans. He's here where he is because Republicans have cut plea deals and everything else. And it has not changed Republican voter minds. They are stuck there.
There's no question about it. And, again, they always talk about these polls, and the polls clearly did show that if Donald Trump is convicted of a crime, which I still don't understand why it would take the fact that you are indicted on 91 counts. You cannot tell me that all 91 counts have been made up. And
maybe we'll make more Democrats vote like say like, you know what? Oh, fuck that. He cannot be president and criminal. I'm gonna get up and go to the polls. Like, I don't understand.
That's the whole idea. And the idea is it is clear. This is 100% clear. It's been clear in every single election since I've basically been alive, or at least since I've been able to vote, is that when Democrats show up in numbers, it's over for Republicans. They cannot win because this is more of a Democratic country than it is a Republican country.
Right.
And that doesn't mean it's part, whatever, but what it means is that more people side on the freedoms, really, and they side more on just issues that are not that big of a deal to them. It's not their number one issue. The number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 issues on the Donald Trump side, and just like you said, they're not even Republicans, so I'm not even call it Republicans, but on that MAGA side is whether or not transgenders have rights, whether or not Muslims have rights, and whether or not blacks have right. All this kinds of stuff is their top agenda. And well, first of all, in front of all that, make billionaires trillionaires. That's number one more than anything. That's what they care about more than anything. And then everything else behind that. None of it, like you've brought up numerous times, is the kitchen issues. Yeah. Kitchen table issues. They don't care about any of that. They've talked about taking away Social Security. They've talked about Donald Trump still talking about taking away Obamacare, which is not popular at all.
Right.
Don't understand it.
Right. Republicans got a new plan. So Donald Trump will take care of my back. Remember, you played the video. She's got sciatica and whatever else, herniated disc.
Yeah.
Discs. She's like, Donald Trump's gonna fix it. That's why I'm here at the rally.
This is another video, by the way. I want to play this. I'm kind of all over the place, but is this the one? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is it. This is Donald Trump. This is a little history of his healthcare plan done by the Midas Touch Network. They did a pretty good job of putting together this little clip of Donald Trump talking about healthcare.
When we win on November 8th, we will be able to immediately repeal and replace Obamacare. My first day in office, I'm going to ask Congress to put a bill on my desk.
I hope we're going to surprise you with a really good plan.
You can end up with great health care for a fraction of the price, and that's going to take place immediately after we go in, okay? Immediately. On my first day, you're going to be very proud of what we put forth having to do with health care.
I know that we're all going to make a deal on health care. That's such an easy one.
Form a really great plan.
You've been in office 3.5 years. You don't have a plan.
Well, we haven't had... excuse me. You heard me yesterday. We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks. A full and complete health care plan.
I've been saying this for a long time.
Sure has.
And MAGA won't watch that. Like they don't fucking care. Like
but they hear him say it. They hear him say it.
They didn't build a wall either, but it didn't matter. Steve Bannon took their fucking money and did not build a wall, and they still support Steve Bannon.
Yep. It is just... It is mind-blowing to me. And that's why I said, I think it's just people get to a place in life where they need to believe. They have to believe, and they have a certain set of whatever it is in them, anger or hatred, that they need to cling on to. And you're not going to draw me off of it with your stupid facts and, your stupid truths, because
it doesn't matter.
I believe it. I believe it, and it's just like Jesus. And I'm not saying hatred and Jesus go together. What I'm saying is that when you are so passionate about believing something, your mind is very difficult to change.
Yeah. And plus they want to win. They don't fucking care. They ignore it. I don't even think they don't want to hear it.
No.
They want to be on the winning side. To them, Trump is a winner. That's where they want to be. That's the side. They're looking, they don't see politics, policy, legislation. They don't see any of that. I think they just see a side. They are just on Trump's side.
They're obviously not seeing the winning, though. You're saying they want to be on the winning side. When are they going to fucking win?
True. They're trying. They're going to cheat and try, but they're not going to change over because it's not even about the winning side. It's about the white side. It's about the white supremacy side. It's about the side that's not afraid of calling Mexicans rapists, is not afraid of a Muslim ban, is not afraid of treating the other like shit, because that makes them feel better about themselves when you treat someone else like shit. We know that.
Yeah.
That's the key right there. Check out Stamped on Netflix. It goes through all of that. It's a great,
what is it on Netflix?
Stamped. It's Ibram Kendi, his book Stamped, and it from the Middle Passage, from when Africans were stolen from Africa and came and was brought to America and stamped, and it just goes through the process just of how we got here, what white supremacy is. And it's so deep because it showed, like, you know, even like some indentured servants, right, had to be with the African slaves, and they were actually working hand in hand and like trying to free themselves together. But then the white person saw them working together and was like, so they started giving indentured servants more rights. And then the indentured servant thought that they were better. Then the indentured servant started getting paid and then started buying their own slaves, the ones that they were working hand in hand with. And now they treated them even worse because that's just, it's an amazing documentary. Check it out. I recommend it highly.
I am absolutely going to check it out. And also too, it's funny is that, you know, you can't, they're making it to where you're not allowed to even learn that in school anymore, but you can learn it on Netflix. So, you know, you can
Netflix, everybody watch
Netflix is more educational than some of our school systems, but it is sad. It's pathetic. But you brought up Steve Bannon, and so did I. This is what Steve Bannon. He's and by the way, why he's not in jail yet? I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I guess his trial is not until May or something. I don't understand why so long.
I don't understand either, but
this guy just sit here and do a podcast and live life like nothing is going on. But anyway, he has Kash Patel, who is one of these MAGA lawyers, and
I remember Kash Patel,
MAGA nut guys.
Film, is that his film that he did about the ballot boxes? And
is he the one that did 2,000 Mules? Is that the one you're talking about? I think that was Dinesh D'Souza is who that is. Yeah, Kash Patel is a
Indian guys. Like,
I don't know. I don't, you know.
Wow.
And I don't know a whole bunch about this, but I think I heard. It was a black woman who was talking about it, and it was these other ethnicities or other ethnicities that still, and I see this when I take applications at work, because we have to ask, you know, certain things about the application, and you can tell us what your ethnicity is, and then you can also tell us what your race is. And I think a lot of Indians and Latinos, they classify themselves as white. So they look at themselves as people in the white community. So they're look at us, you know, and not that I don't even care, but I think there's some skewed vision and skewed thought that, you know, that whatever it is that they're not part of that other class. They're not part of that other society, that we're with them. And that's concerning. And I did hear that woman make that point, and I didn't even dawn on me until she said that. I was like, you know, that's just something to think about. But anyway, this is Kash Patel with Steve Bannon, and they're going to tell us how things are going to go down.
When you go back and is a senior member of this administration, President Trump's administration.
He was part of the administration, I think, the first time.
Starting in the afternoon of the 20th of January of 2025. Do you feel confident that you will be able to deliver the goods, that we can have serious prosecutions and accountability? And I want the Morning Joe producers that watch us and all the producers that watch us, this is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious. We're not. You cannot have a constitutional republic and allow what these deep staters have done to the country. The deep state, the administrative state, the fourth branch of government, never mentioned in the Constitution, is going to be taken apart brick by brick. And
Steve went to Fantastic Sam's, it looks like. Got a haircut.
the people that did these evil deeds will be held accountable and prosecuted, criminal prosecutions. Cash, I know you're probably going to be head of the CIA, but do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators.
Projection there. I mean, that's basically, they're saying it in front of everybody. They said, we're going to prosecute you because we don't like you and we don't like your politics. And what they're doing is they're using this false narrative that is exactly, we're going to get you back. And they get people to believe that Joe Biden literally sitting in his office going, we need to take this Donald Trump fucker down. We need to put him in jail. Joe Biden has nothing to do with this. And as you pointed out earlier, most of the people who are testifying, if not all of the people testifying against Donald Trump, are all Republicans and people who worked with him and for him. That's scary shit.
Can I just say Steve Bannon was breathing like a pig?
Because he is a pig.
During the whole thing.
Yep. Yeah.
And two, like, I wish that Gen Zers and young people would watch this kind of stuff because, you know, there's a lot at stake. Like, a Trump presidency is just things what we were just saying at the top of the hour. Like, he can make any kind of rules and laws that he wants. Like, he has already said he's going to fire people, right? So, like, you work for the federal government under his purview, he's just gonna fire you and put in loyalists. So that means if you are a person of color, they're automatically going to assume that you are a Democrat.
Yeah.
You're going to lose your job. He's only going to have people who are loyal to him. That's pretty. My pillow guy is literally going to be.
He's going to be the Secretary of State. Yeah. It's just
doing the daily briefs, like, and this is what they're all doing, right? They're all auditioning. Like, not one of these people are serious, other than Nikki Haley at this point. We're trying to be president. They all. Chris Christie. He knows
he doesn't have a chance. And, you know, again, we talk about it. We can roll our eyes at the hypocrisy of Chris Christie all we want to. But the fact that somebody like him, and by the way, this next clip, Liz Cheney, who is out on a book tour recently, and she's on the MSNBCs now. She's on CBS. She's going around promoting her book, but she's also warning everybody about Donald Trump and what his presidency would look like. Here she is on one of these shows, giving her opinion on Donald Trump.
Trump may mean the last election that you ever get to vote in. And again, I don't say that lightly, and it I think is heartbreaking that that's where we are. But people have to recognize that a vote for Donald Trump is a vote against the Constitution.
And, you know, this is the daughter of Dick Cheney, who is maybe one of the worst people that was ever in politics.
Did you see his ad? Did you see his ad?
I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, the warning there. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that these things, like you said, need to make it more on this TikTok, because apparently TikTok is now dictating what's going on in politics now, and all these people on TikTok and describing what's happening. But, again, Liz Cheney, not my favorite person in the world, but, she is out there and she said she will do. One thing that bothers me, though, I just hate when politicians do this. She was asked by, I think it was Samantha Guthrie on CBS. She's like, so you definitely don't want Donald Trump to be president. She goes, I will do anything. She goes, so if it means Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the two nominees, would you vote for Joe Biden? Well, what we're hoping for is another Republican would be. She's like, I understand that. I understand you're hoping for another Republican. My question to you is, if it's Donald Trump and Joe Biden, would you vote for Joe Biden? And she still can't bring herself to say it, which drives me nuts.
What does that mean? She's not going to vote, or she's going to write in somebody who she thinks like her father or someone?
No, but she just said, she goes, I will. She kind of did that. I will do everything I can, basically saying, yes, I will, without actually saying it. I think.
Want to say it.
But, that's the thing, is that
I guess if she considers running for president, she doesn't want to say it.
Maybe. I mean, there's a rumor that she's considering a third party because it would take votes away from Donald Trump. So maybe that's what she meant by I would do anything. Maybe hopefully it is, because if that is the case, I think it's a noble thing to do, to try to take anything you can away from Donald Trump. But it's also too, and maybe that's it. But the fact that you just can't say, yes, I would vote for Joe Biden if it's just them two on there, 100%. Hell, you even get some people on our side that are still hesitant to say about Joe Biden. I get people asking me like they think they're getting me on something. They're like, like they'll tap their buddy and watch. So you're telling me you would actually vote for Joe Biden? I'd be like, are you fucking crazy? Of course I would. And they're like, huh, what? They're like, because they're so programmed into thinking that Joe Biden's this fool who doesn't know where he's at, and he doesn't, that he's doing this awful job, and that inflation's through the roof because of him, and gas prices are and they think that that's reality.
And how, when they're going to the fucking store, because I can't literally go and be like complaining like I was complaining last year, because when I go and look at the snacks, I'm like, oh shit, new bars are on sale now. Like Nature Valley bars are not damn near $5 for a small box. Like, the prices are going down. And if they're not, it's the fucking price gouging companies.
That's exactly what it is. And I swear to God, that is the one message I wish they would get out there more. And I've heard Biden say it. He was tweeting about it the other day, about the corporations and that they need to lower their prices. COVID's over. And even though COVID really, there was no justification for you to raise your prices during COVID. What the fuck were they doing? I mean, that was just, but then when they raised their prices, got used to people paying for it. And they're like, hey, people are kind of used to it now. And they're also blaming the president. They're not blaming us. So what the fuck do we care?
That's it. And the only reason people were able to do that was because they were getting that child tax credit.
Yes. Yeah.
That extra money. So we could deal with that. And I think the companies kind of knew that, and they worked that into their, their
strategy as far as that's exactly what it is. And you talk about where they say out loud, just like the Steve Bannon thing. We've talked about this before, that there are these quarterly phone calls that these corporate CEOs have to make and report their earnings and do all this stuff. And they're on there bragging about how much money they're making. And they're talking about, we played the clip last week, or the guy saying, we make money during the good times. We make way more during the bad times. And it's just like, people, what makes you think that voting for Donald Trump is going to help this?
Yeah, right. Because he did so good the last time. That's why I'm like, people have like voting amnesia. Like, what did he do so great the last time? And the trolls be like, the crime bill. Like, that's all the crime bill. Like, the thing was like 2 pages long. Like, it was nothing. It was something he probably was supposed to do anyway. And it was a fucking bare minimum. And then he went on and executed like all of these people federally. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, the thing I hear most out of anything during the ones that they want to talk about the Trump administration, they were like, I gotta tell you, man, the economy was rolling when he was president. I'm just like, I got to tell you, man, you don't know what you're talking about. The economy was doing fine during the Trump administration. There's absolutely no question about it. There's nothing that we can point out during that where we go, wow, he took over as president and everything went backwards, because that'd be disingenuous the way they're doing it now with
But it
Biden.
didn't go backwards that fast anyway. He got a rolling economy, so it's going to keep rolling for a while. Like, it's going to take you a minute to fuck it up, which he did when he handed it off.
That's exactly what happened. And what happened is that he lost at the very end. So whoever took over as president was going to get blamed for his horrific handling of COVID. And people don't understand that. I swear to God, I can't go through life anymore listening to one more person say to me that gas prices were low and so was the mortgage rates when he was president.
I got
Dude, you're so stupid.
Picture of like gas at $1.80. Like, yeah, dumb fuck, it was $1.80. Nobody was driving.
You know, there were more wild animals in the middle of the road during that time because nobody was driving and all the gas emissions and everything was down and all the smog was gone away and the animals came out of the forest and were like, look at this shit. This is awesome.
Exactly. I'm like, the fuck you show $1.80 gas? Of course it was. They want people to get in their fucking cars.
God, and there's just no getting through to anybody on that. It's just,
they're really dumb. It's just really, really, I don't know, man.
It's interesting. Well, you think the head shaking's done, but it's not. We're going to finish up with Elon Musk here.
Oh, as long as it wasn't Trump, because I don't think.
Yeah, no, well, it's a guy who he thinks he's the Trump of his social media site, Twitter. And there's now these attitudes of these guys going in and saying, we're going to take down the liberals. We're going to take down the woke factions of everything, and watch how badass I am. Watch what I'm going to do when somebody brings up, and by the way, people are starting to leave Twitter. The advertisers are leaving Twitter because Elon Musk keeps giving into these anti-Semitic sort of tweets and, racist tweet, just all kinds of things. And advertisers have kind of had enough of it. And they're like, yeah, maybe this is not the platform for us. So it's obviously not just Twitter. It's because of the person who runs Twitter. So he was apparently there's this big, I don't know what it was, seminar sort of thing that had different people there. Kamala Harris was there. Elon Musk was there. There was a bunch of people, but this was the segment with Elon Musk that, I can't remember his name. I'll see it when it comes up, but he was doing all the interviews. But this was Elon Musk's response. And I'm sure most people saw this already, but this was his response when asked about advertisers leaving his platform.
You know that there's a public perception that, and you're clarifying this now.
Andrew Ross Sorkin, by the way, is the interview.
Okay. But there's a public perception that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
He keeps looking out the crowd for some sort of validation and like he's going to get this big raucous applause. Now, I know he's probably getting it from the dorks who are in their rooms with posters of Elon Musk up in their room, and they think that this was the coolest, baddest ass thing in the world. But let's let him, I guess, finish this ridiculous.
Somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising? Blackmail me with money? Go fuck yourself.
But
go fuck yourself. Is that clear?
God, he's saying he so wants to be cool. He just wants to be this cool dude that everybody thinks is awesome. And he's so uncomfortably dorky.
And he knows it. Like, it's just.
He does know it.
Right. And that's what makes it even more weird and uncomfortable. It's just like, he's like, oh shit, I'm doing this and nobody's really responding. Let me do something bigger.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Uh,
No, Elon.
Yeah. And
You're-
you know what? You people are not reacting. So I'm going to say this to
Yeah.
my people, is basically what he's saying. I'm going to let my people there are a group of people out there that make this guy think that he is some just
And I
hero
know
to the world.
why.
And he's even going to explain sort of that way is something like that here in a second. Let's finish this.
I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Cool.
Well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel.
I know.
Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising.
This is how out of touch he is. Listen to this answer.
If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
F-Y.
I understand that, but there's a reality too, right?
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. No. Actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company.
Good.
And do you think that
and the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company, and we will document it in great detail.
But those advertisers, I imagine, are going to say, we didn't kill the company.
Oh yeah.
They're going to say,
tell it to Earth.
But they're going to say, Elon, that you killed the company because you said these things, and that they were inappropriate things, and that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, right? That's what they're going to say.
And let's see how Earth responds to that.
Okay. This.
I know, poor Andrew. He's just like, dude, you're a fucking asshole. Like, I don't even know who Andrew is. I heard his name.
I think he's on MSNBC. I'm pretty sure. Actually, if I'm him, I'm like, oh, this is fucking gold. I love every second of it. Just keep talking. Because this is going to go all over the place.
He's like a fucking idiot.
He is. You know what he is? He's the QAnon that you can see, you can listen to and see and go to him. He is that QAnon. The QAnon guy that these idiots fell for was some mysterious guy on the computer that they'd go to a certain website and wait for his instructions or wait for what he had to say about what was going on, and nobody knew who the fuck he was. And it turns out through some investigation, he's some weird kid in another country, but from America, just basically fucking with people. But he is their real life QAnon guy. He is the guy that is going to make Earth make sense, and Earth is going to come down on these advertisers. This is how out of touch and wacky and nutty these fucking people are.
Tell it to Earth. Like,
what is he talking about? He is delusional.
What does that mean? Earth is going to be pissed?
Yep. That's exactly what it means. He thinks
is that the same as like Americans? He just means all of the world is going to be pissed. Oh, the world.
It's going to be the world. The world is going to go. We are now understanding what's happening is that our main man, Elon Musk, cannot say anti-Semitic things whenever he wants to. So we are going to judge these companies, and these companies will be out of business because what they did to Elon Musk. That's how delusional this fucking idiot is. And somehow he makes more money than every person on Earth. It makes no fucking sense.
Right. He's just bored. He's just fucking bored.
Damn.
And they eat up the following, right? They eat up the fans, right? Because the fans are just so right there. It's different with social media. It's not like before when you had fan and you got fan mail. And
right.
Now it's like your fans are fucking there. You see them every tweet. You just see all the likes. You just see people are paying attention to you.
Well, you see the bots that are created too that are designed to attack anybody that says anything bad about Elon Musk or to praise everything that he says, or to, because you'll see a lot of the shit. probably even under his thing, you'll see a comment, Elon, you're the man. Go tell them to fuck themselves. And you'll see 1 follower, 0 follow. You know, it's just like following nobody, 1 follower, you know, that
he's gonna lose it. Like he's going to like X is not gonna just go and disappear. I think somebody's just gonna buy the shit from him.
I hope so, and I hope it goes back to at least some sort of normal, because I actually enjoyed Twitter a lot.
I don't want to change.
Yeah, and I, you know, like he said, the company probably isn't going to go somewhere. Maybe somebody with, and that, you know, the other thing too is this is where I don't understand where a lot of people who had respectability give in to these monsters like this Linda Yakarama or whatever her name was. She was a highly respected executive in many different fields. And she was the one who took over Twitter. And he's basically saying, and she, like he said, she's in charge of advertising. You're telling your top advertisers to go fuck themselves. And she's just like, oh, hey, you know, that's Elon. You know, it's just like, man, how do you give in to that stuff? Maybe he's paying her an unbelievable amount of money that if she gets fired, that it doesn't even matter.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Wow. That shit's crazy.
That's why I have a hard time believing in God. When somebody like that makes more money than anybody on the planet, and when a guy with 91 felony counts is being praised and idolized by evangelicals.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yep.
Praise Jesus. I don't know. You put your hand. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. But
Trump doesn't either, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right, Lana, what do you think? You got anything else? Hit me.
To talk about? I'm gonna talk about him on Thursday, but we can talk about. We haven't talked about him.
No, let's talk about it.
What the fuck is that? Benjamin Owen Benjamin. What the fuck is that dude's name?
You want me to look it up real quick while you have something to say?
I mean, what is?
I'll look it up. I'll do it. It was. You're talking about your guy, right?
I'm talking I don't even know what we're talking about. That were we in closing? Are we in closing? Or
we are whatever the fuck you want.
You said you have anything? I'm like, are we closing? Because I don't know. I can close.
Listen, we're like 7-Eleven. We're 7-Elevens are up there, right? You have 7-Elevens.
You know, I have yes.
Okay.
Something tomorrow. I'm gonna be on some podcast.
You don't even know.
I don't remember the Shabaka's Experience. I don't.
All right. Well, promote yourself.
Phone in something.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what this is.
You're all over the place.
It's gonna be there.
Now, Benjamin Owens, I don't know who that is. I know Benjamin Buttons. Who's Benjamin Owens?
Did you look him up?
No. Hold on. I thought you were talking about something else.
No. Stephen Holden is a politician that we're going to interview. Yeah, Benjamin Owen is a conservative comedian who did a video, and in the video, supposed to be satire or comedy. Oh no, I think he was being interviewed. See, I need to get all my facts. But whatever the case is, he's been interviewed and he was asked about the abortion problem. And he was saying, well, you know, he knows how to fix abortion. You fix abortion because, you know, the Black women getting abortions. Hey, why are you getting abortions? I'll just buy your baby and put him to work on my property.
Was that as an attempt at a joke?
It didn't sound like a joke. And because he went on to call the babies, what did he call them? I wrote it down. Something about, this is like a something about basketball sperm. I don't know. And none of it was funny, right? Because he's like, well, what would you do? Would you rather baby be dead or be a slave? That's so
Wow.
funny. That's so funny.
Well, again, these people now are they feel free saying this, and you know what? Say whatever the fuck you want, and that's the thing that they don't understand. You could say whatever the fuck you want. You cancel whatever. That's up to the advertisers. That's up to anybody that wants to associate with you. And I would imagine that if
he's
he
not
had
really
any,
a good. No one knows who the fuck.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. So what do when nobody knows who the fuck you are? Is you try to say something controversial, maybe to get somebody to say, but probably not the greatest way to get attention. But these who these people are now. They say whatever they want to. They know they could say it on podcasts because podcasts have zero regulation, for the most part.
Right.
And a lot of these podcasts don't even have advertisers. So, anybody can come on our, and say whatever they want to. And there are no ramifications unless maybe somebody at their job saw it and said, you're not working here anymore. But that's what the society is now, is that people now think that this is funny. They think it's cool. And they think it's not only funny and cool, they think this is their way of fighting back against something that we're not really fighting you on.
Because it's not even like he was fighting against abortion. He was being raped.
Right. That's exactly what it is. So it's basically
about the white babies. He didn't say anything about taking white women's babies. Hey, don't have an abortion, white ladies. I'll buy your baby. Like, that's not what he said. So he said enslave the black babies.
Yeah, let me bring up abortion because that's a hot topic, but I'm going to do my little twist on abortion and really get some attention from it. And again, man, if that's how you want to live life and you think that that's the way to go about it,
backtrack it.
God bless you. I'm sure you're a God-fearing man too. You're probably one of those.
Yeah.
So God bless you.
He did try to backtrack it and say, well, not slaves, employee.
Yeah, hilarious. I mean, well, have you heard any of these like right-wing comedians?
Tell the stupid jokes. I heard one
They're
talking about
so
Pelosi's
painful.
Pelosi's husband. How about too soon? Like,
it is so painful. I was watching this one thing. I wish I had the clips. I guess Ben Shapiro has some new movie that he produced.
Oh, no way.
And it was written by one of these MAGA comedians. And it has something to do with transgender stuff. I don't fucking know. It has some transgender men playing sports. And they were even, I saw a clip, I wish I had it, but they were talking to Ben Shapiro about it. And he was like, well, we were going to do a documentary, but it turns out that they don't actually let real men play women's sports. So he's basically admitting that still it's not even really a problem or an issue. But they did this whole hilarious movie apparently about it, and it's a comedy, and it was from one of these MAGA comedians, and they were showing clips of this guy on stage, and literally nobody was laughing at anything he was saying. It was painful to watch. Well, I'd say painful, but it was just so bad that I can't stand these people that I love watching their uncomfortability.
Right. Just go on and fail and bomb.
Yep, 100%. Yep.
Next, they're going to be in blackface soon. I'm
you. And that's their way too, saying, well, they want to get the attention, saying, here they come. They're coming after me. They're going to cancel me. And first of all, nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody knows the fuck you are. But let's say somebody does, quote unquote, cancel you. It's because you're an asshole and you're not funny. That's maybe really why. It's not because you're too edgy for us.
What?
God.
Oh my God. It's so stressful.
Well, it's December, by the way. Do you know it's less than 3 weeks until Christmas?
It's unbelievable because I'm like in my head while you're talking, I'm going, oh my God, what the fuck? Because there's like a holiday party.
Yeah, me too.
Oh shoot, I need to look. No, I don't think anything is on a Tuesday. holiday party. I got like cocktails with the ladies at work.
Nice. What? That'll be fun. No?
I mean, they're older ladies.
All right. Well, you know what? You make it fun.
Older June cleavers of the world.
Yeah.
We're going to the Langham. I'm like, why did they invite me?
But you know what? They invite you because they like you. You know, I've seen, listen, I've been in many workspaces where they're like, hey, we're all going out to drink. Don't tell fucking so-and-so because we don't want them to be there.
Well, listen, I am the cool one there, and I've been there the longest.
No question.
So
yeah, why would you question why somebody wants you going?
No, but it's still we're gonna walk in there and people are gonna be like,
no.
So weird.
No, I don't know if maybe if you're in one of these towns around where I live, maybe they would, but not up in Boston.
That is true.
Yeah,
the old Italian lady and Irish. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I know. I was writing down today all the different dates and things of things coming up because I want to make sure I got everything straightened out. But
right.
But yeah, there are a lot of things coming up. Obviously, hope everybody out there is careful and everybody is, this Christmas apparently is going to be better than the last few Christmases because Joe Biden's done a phenomenal job. So let's gear up, have a great Christmas this season this year. And then I'm telling you, we talked about this, 2024 is going to be wild, son.
It really like just
wild
thought of it because imagine Twitter right now is like a freaking death pool. Like it's just so crazy. Imagine the closer we get to the election.
It's going to be insanity. And you know what sucks is that Twitter during the first election before Elon had it, it was awesome. It was, I was engaged, but I have a feeling that I'm not going to be seeing all the things that I normally see. And I'm just going to be seeing some weird shit on Twitter and all that stuff. Luckily my feed is bomb now with, I'm not going to get too much into this because I'll talk for 2 hours, but I'm a diehard Miami Dolphins fan. And what they're doing right now has me, Lana, you can't even gauge the excitement going on in my home about this team. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 50 years. They are on the verge of possibly doing something that they haven't done in 50 years. I'm not saying anything yet. It's too early.
Yeah.
But my feed on Twitter is just filled with a lot of Miami Dolphin stuff. So that's why.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, but it's fun. It takes you away from all the
It sure does. Yep. Although that pisses me off too. That they find a way to piss me off. So, it's like
Miami, fuck Florida.
It's not even that. It's just like even Dolphin fans, they're like worried about the dumbest shit. And I'm like, who cares about any of this? Let's just talk about how well we're doing. That's all I care about right now. So, yeah, it all pisses me off. There's something about it every place they can find a way to piss me off. But all right. So we will be back on Tuesday. Sorry we missed last week. I woke up. I had one of them damn headaches.
I'm glad you feel better. I don't have anything on my calendar.
Last time I had it like that, it was COVID. And I was like, this better not be COVID. And I did one of those things where I took a nap that night. I just laid down. I fell asleep and I woke up. I had no idea where I was at. I had no idea what day it was. I didn't know what time it was. It was one of those deals. And I woke up and I felt terrible and I just couldn't do it. So, but we will be back next week. Lana, you have your show Thursday this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have your show Thursday. That was the Quest show with Lana Quest. You can check that out on YouTube. Please like and subscribe that show. Please like and subscribe this show. And we hope everybody has a fantastic evening and we will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, Lana. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good weekend.
You too.